Are you wondering?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Actually, when I saw that, I was like, oh, so are they? And it was also said that they banned the use of cap in that school. I'm trying to get the name of the school in Delta State, but we're having a little bit of challenge with the network here. But the story was that I. When I saw the headline, I was like, why would cap be indecent? Like, who calls cap indecent dressing? It's not like you're telling the girls not to wear spaghetti or look skimpy or wear short things. Oh, that reminds me of something which I don't feel like sharing here on Area Talk. But then
Then why would you mention it?
it came to my head. I was going to talk about it. I was like, no. But you don't do this to yourself. Not now. Maybe on Sunday I could do something to myself. But not now. But so it was actually said that when you wear caps, if you wear a cap to school and maybe something happened, it's a bit difficult to identify who exactly the person is. Maybe to, like, you want to go and commit a crime or something in the school and then you just wear a face cap and your identity somehow is hidden. So that's part of the reason why they said the use of face cap is banned, which I think is not such a bad thing.
Okay, so most people who commit these crimes, especially in high institutions, they use the cap as the hats as means of disguise. So okay.
Because when you're wearing a face cap and it's like here is like covered, it's not so easy to identify who exactly that person is, especially when there are CCTVs around and you're trying to identify who this person
And
was.
some people even make use of glasses or
That's true
black
to an extent.
shades.
But I remember when we were much younger, not too young now.
I don't understand much younger. What are you now?
Much younger, like come on, we don't do advanced now.
advanced.
When we were much younger, like okay, during our university days, let me put it that way. We used to have this notion, we used to have this impression that the guys who put on caps, they are the bad guys. And then there were this set of guys that it used to be their trademark. There were you could never catch them without having hats on. And then there was this swag to it, there was this style to it. They put on the hats and then they draw them down. Like they'd make them cover the entire upper part of their faces. Their forehead entirely gone, their eyes entirely gone. So the cap, the hood of the cap would be like somewhere in between their nose region and their eyes. You should understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I understand.
And then you see this kind of guys and you see them, most times they're actually struggling to look through the hood of the cap. And
some people will even make use of glasses like black shades and they'll go around with the face cap and everything. Why are you doing that to yourself? The last time I remembered me doing that kind of thing was not even like got this. It was did I go in cap? Like I was sitting, I wanted to sleep. So I brought my cap. I just put the cap down. I slept off.
What was the purpose? To what end? It helped you sleep.
It helped. Like that place, it was. I wouldn't want to expose myself. Like but she already eat herself before. But then we were somewhere and we were forced to listen to all these very boring lectures, and there are securities around, so they would try to wake you up, or you have to stand up. Like for the whole of the lecture, so you don't want that for yourself. So I have to look for an escape for myself. Find a face cap, sleep off.
Okay, now since we're still talking about what's
indecent dressing.
How would you describe someone? How would you describe a guy who puts brocade on? The guy who puts on brocade, like maybe he just has the lower part of the brocade on the trouser, that is, and then he puts on a jacket, and then he has canvas on.
What is he going for exactly? What is his aim in life?
Based on your definition. But well, the program is Area Talk here on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. It is a program that you call in and share your eyewitness reports. We just give some stories within the South because we talk about things happening in the South region of the country. So you can call in and share your eyewitness reports. And Bolu will be sharing the numbers with us shortly. More details have emerged over the death of a student of the University of Port Harcourt, that's Prince Dibani, who allegedly committed suicide in his room at Alu community. So our correspondent was able to gather that the late Dibani had expressed frustration with the way his life was going, which he believed was going nowhere. He was also it was also reported that he told his friend about his plans to commit suicide, but later he then claimed it was a joke because his friend was always trying to stop him from being alone and the rest of it. But the 400 engineering student was later found to have swallowed sniper insecticide after mixing it with yogurt.
400 level.
Why did this make
Why
me
did
laugh?
he wait so long?
Why did he wait so long? Exactly why did you ask that question?
Like 400 level is a long way.
Like he's gone really far.
Yeah, and he just gave up on himself.
Bolu. This time I will not even keep it down. You know, there are times that you will be this broke. God have mercy. No, because you said that. You might see someone and you'll be like, this person has gone fine life. What's your problem? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? But when that thing hits you like this,
Babe, we all have things going on for us.
now,
You
I'm
don't
not
want
justifying.
To,
I'm not.
you don't
No,
want to
now,
hear
if
some
it's
things.
suicide, if suicide is actually the easy way out, I'm sure many of us would have been dead long before now.
Like
Okay,
but it's
way
actually
back.
I think I'll just be a man, yeah.
you be a man and you'll be strong about
Like
it.
since
And
way
you will not
back.
talk about that time in your life
Yeah.
when you were just
no,
there.
no.
Although that thought didn't cross your head.
I
though.
won't talk about it.
No, please don't talk about
No,
it.
suicide didn't actually come to my mind.
But actually, yeah, whether it's 400 level or he's done with school or he's serving or something, it's not justified that he had to take his own life. I think they should even make it a crime set. If you're being caught trying to commit suicide, you should even go to prison for it or something.
It will
But
worsen the person's case. Just take the person to probably a
On the lighter
rehabilitation
side,
center or something.
I saw one post like that, and the write-up was like, you cannot come and go and take your life. You just cannot come and go and take your life. That's very disloyal. You know, you can't come and leave all of us. We're all in this together. Like,
we're supposed to hustle together.
yeah, we're supposed to do this
Go
together.
through the pain
Go
together.
through all of this together.
And if where we make
so you
it, we
can't
make
come
it
and chicken
together.
out. You know,
Exactly.
No pain, no
Oh,
gain.
man.
All right, take a listen to this one though.
Drank the poison. I saw the nutriment that I want to use to use the poison. I was at the gate, I was going outside to get something when he was coming inside with the nutriment. So I was like playing with him. Okay, you don't need bye you know, go carry me along. So now I laugh and say, this is my only thing that I want to do for today. So I was like, bash me some now. Say no reason now.
Well, it's actually really sad that anybody would just I'm trying to look for a better word because, like I said, suicide is never the way out. But no matter what it is you're going through, that's why it's always good that people around you take note of people around you, because you might feel like everything is well with them. Oh, they are always laughing, they are joking, they are jovial, they're happy, and then they crack jokes like, God, if not be smart enough, or just go drink this sniper or do this one, do that one, and then everybody will laugh over it. Please, anybody that jokes like that, take note of them and try to pay attention to them. Always make sure they are not alone. You see, his friend was actually trying to help him out, but then he was like, no, guy, I was just joking. But it wasn't a joke. Finally, he took his life. It's really unfortunate. We hope he so rest in peace. But for those of us alive, the hustle is real. It won't get easier than it is. Just have that in mind. So when you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and it feels like nothing is going right, just keep pushing, because that's all you can do. Even when it goes right, you still keep pushing for better ones. So why just chicken out? It's actually not worth it. It's never been worth it, and it will never be worth it. Welcome to Area Talk. Good evening. All right. Very sad when I lose my first call. But the lines are 0817 0000951 or 08109510 You could also send a WhatsApp message to the number 0701 Now, speaking about suicide, somebody said suicide is actually some kind of spiritual manipulation. You think it is?
Some people, they follow them. Like what I said on this program the other day, I called in Yoruba AD. Like, you know, like it was
It's
not your
something that's
intention.
been-
like
yeah,
they just
some
pushed
sort of
you.
spirit and program.
Yeah, it's
programming.
spiritual something like
Spiritual programming.
your household people.
See the way you're doing.
They
I'm
are
even
following
wondering
you
if-
back to back. So
Okay.
they thought that if they did it by themselves, it would be hard. So they just told you to do it by yourself. So, you know.
That's what but speaking about the spiritual side of life, so in spite of prayers and protests against a conference on witchcraft at the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, the BIC, Ijoma Center for Policy and Research, UNN, commenced the program on Tuesday, November 26th. So the event, which began on Tuesday, will end Thursday, November 28th. One of the lead paper presenters, Professor Damian Opata, gave a paper entitled "The Wealthy Are No Witches: Towards an Epistemology and Ideology of Witchcraft Amongst the Igbo of Nigeria." They talked about other topics in the conference, like security and witchcraft and traditional beliefs and practices of the Kaliba, that's Huba community in northern Nigeria, the position of the law in respect of witchcraft in Nigeria, an exposition by one Olaitan Oladede. They also talked about theology and witchcraft by Asadu Ngozi and Ihoma Chizoba. And also witchcraft and the law, the Nigerian perspective. And that was given by Okichie Ebelechukwu Loretta. Meanwhile, so many organizations, prior to this, that is, the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria declared a 2-day prayer of warfare against the conference. 2 weeks back, we were talking about witchcraft on Chatterbox.
Yeah.
And there were so many new things to learn about witchcraft. How some are good, some are bad, they are this, they are that. But then back to what is happening at Nsukka currently. You know, if you ask me, in all sincerity, I wonder, I believe God as a Christian. I am a Christian. I don't doubt that for one day. And I don't believe that any power is bigger than the power of God. Because even the witches, the wizard, and the rest of them, they are all under God's power. They also believe in a higher power. They know, they are aware of the kind of power they have. And you might say it's evil, it's manipulative, and the rest of it. That's left for you to think. The same way they believe in a higher power, it's the same way I also believe in a higher power. That is God's power. It's higher than every other thing. It's okay for Khan, PFF, and the rest of them to feel like this is not right. It's supposed to be stopped. We're supposed to kick against things like this because it's like handing over Enugu to the hands of witches. I think someone made a comment. He said something about Enugu is in the hand of God, and if we allow this to happen, to continue, it's like handing Enugu over to the hand of witches. But don't you think it's fair to just allow everybody practice what they believe in? Even if it's witchcraft. And then somebody will ask me, Buchi, why are you fighting against cultism? Because people believe in cultism. So why not allow them practice what they believe in? Were you thinking of asking me that?
No, I'm not thinking of asking you that. Like, you know, it's more like it is not something that they come out to admit. Then suddenly they start coming out that, oh, we want to have a meeting of witches. I'm a witch.
Huh? You are?
No, I'm just saying that. Like, they're saying that I'm a witch. And, okay, we're going to have a meeting on this.
I'm going to fly from this chair.
But this leg has come out.
What's the Your leg will come out.
See my leg? I was ready to fly up this chair. Greg, what do you think about it? Before we head back to the phone line.
Well, the Constitution actually makes provisions for freedom of association, freedom
Religion.
of religion, you know, and all of that. So I'm one of those who think I'm a Christian, just like you said, and I also believe in the all-encompassing power of God, and I believe there is no superior power than that of God. So, having had all of this in mind, I also believe that everybody should be left to practice whatsoever he or she pleases, as with regards to spirituality. If you believe this is what works for you, then go ahead and do your thing. If you believe being a witch, being a wizard,
it's not like they're not free. I'm not saying that they're not free. You're free to do whatever you want to do, but then coming out now,
in the open,
like coming out in the open, people that you know that work in the secret.
Christians hold crusades.
You know,
Christians hold
we're not talking of
exactly.
Witches and wizards. Is it a kind of religion?
Is Christianity a kind of religion?
Christianity is a religion, but then you call yourself
whatever
a Christian, but
practice,
then
they have their gatherings like every other Christian does. They go to their coven, they do what they have to do. They say their whatever. If they say prayers, I don't know if they say prayers, but whatever it is,
but then why have
do,
they not come out all this while and they
I
start
think there was
coming out
one
now?
time, long time ago. It also I went something about witchcraft conference one time like that, and I think that was the period.
Yeah,
I can't recall the story exactly how it turned out, but this is not the first time we're hearing about conference of
that
witches.
time they were supposed to hold. I think that one had to do with the entire witches and wizards in the whole of Africa. They're supposed to meet here in Nigeria. Yeah, I've forgotten the state. I think it was in Edo State or something like
it was.
that. I remember that story very well. But
Imagine
the thing is
they
this,
should gather in our Nigeria.
I was actually having a conversation with someone the other day about this particular conference. I think they tagged it first international and interdisciplinary conference on witchcraft.
Okay.
So someone was trying to make me understand the fact that most people are misconstruing the whole thing, the whole essence of this conference. It's not like witches and wizards are coming together to meet, but it's like the conference. The main reason or the main purpose of the conference is like to expose all of the intricacies of how witches
they
and
operate.
Exactly how they operate.
Definitely, they have to come together. They are the ones to tell us how they operate. So obviously, they are the ones going for the meeting. Is it me that wants to go for the meeting? What do I know?
No, you want to learn more.
What if it's based,
I know you for being inquisitive.
What if it's born out of research?
No, even if it's born out of research.
Okay.
You see me as I am here right now, I don't mind that they want to teach me. You say you're a witch and you want to educate me on how they operate. I really sit and listen to you and hear how you don't use the power against me because I didn't give you permission to use whatever power you want to use against me. So it won't work for me. But if you say you want to educate me and tell me how it works,
so the guy was
metaphysics.
Okay, yeah.
That's
all
the
of
word.
Astral
like
travel,
people studying physics, there are some things that they do in physics and they tell you it's the law of physics if you push this. And when witches do something like that, you say, oh, it's witchcraft. But somehow, they're being able to explain some of these things that we see. So why are we so scared of them?
So this guy went on and on and on, and he was like, he was trying to make me understand that there's a difference between white witches and black witches, and I was like, guy, you don't do.
Anyways, everybody is free to do whatever they want to do. That's the basic.
Trust me, you don't even believe that thing you just said. You don't believe what you just
I actually believe that people are free to do it. I'm just concerned about the fact that they are coming up now to, take up whatever it is that they are.
Of course.
Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Cuckoo, you're my first caller for you. Hey, Cuckoo. Oh, yeah, let me hear you.
Listen.
I'm listening. I know that's why you called.
27 minutes. 27 minutes. Just
all right, Cuckoo, go ahead. Go ahead, Cuckoo, we're listening.
Yeah. You see, in the area of witch, nothing like winch. Let me tell you, witchcraft. Nobody turns to winch and fly by night or fly by day. No human being does that. But the only thing to understand is that when human being are winch, when you are trying to block somebody's progress, maybe I'm trying to favor this person now, and you see, you went because of wickedness and say, that person have not done anything to me or done anything to me. You say, you went and you come and discourage me from helping that person. You are a witch. Okay. That is how people are. Maybe somebody might say, okay, let me go and marry Buchi. Hey, Buchi is a very, let me go and marry her. And somebody went and run down to that person and tell him, please don't worry, this one. And why else you have not done
that
anything,
person is already a
person
witch.
He's a witch.
Okay.
He cannot start.
So if you are like a wicked person,
he's a wicked person. That's what makes them a witch. They are witch.
All right.
Witchcraft that comes in. So there's nothing like for somebody to turn at night, turn to rat, turn to this one. Nothing like that. Nothing.
All right.
So now, in the area of that boy committing suicide, you see, let me tell you something. There is one jingle you people no comment or what? I don't know how to use.
Yeah, it's a jingle.
Since 2017, many Nigerians have succumbed themselves to suicide. This is why, because thank God that you put not say since 2014 or 2015 when good luck.
I don't.
It was only when this man came into power with APC, that is when Nigerians come into suicide because of hardship. This man have made so many Nigerians to commit suicide because of hardship. Because people have no longer have hope. When good luck was in power, nobody committed suicide.
That's not true.
Somebody commit suicide.
That's not true.
Look at this man and since justice.
Ikuku, thank you so much. That's not true. And the jingle didn't specify when exactly, the jingle we play here in the station, it didn't specify when exactly it started. We just talked about suicide and how to avoid it, and always talk to someone and the rest of it. Meanwhile, it's Area Talk. Let's hear what's happening in your community. Good evening.
Good evening, Fuji. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Yeah, this is Enrique from Delhi.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Indiscriminate dressing. Indiscriminate or dressing, I would talk
Indecent.
Indecent.
No dress is indecent. Because the dress that church, one church is indecent, another church will accept it as material for them, as uniform for them. Then when you are talking of witches and wizards, my sister, somebody have just explained it. I don't know, but my area of this night is Fuji. You see, the government of River State, as I have discussed it, we have not experienced, we have not seen any president of government in the community, but we are managing ourselves. But anybody that is benefiting from this government, they're supposed to like profit. It is like somebody that called yesterday from Iba. I don't think that man is from Iba. If that man is from Iba, he has not traveled to Iba since this December month. Iba, normally from September, before you go from Umuji to Iba, it will take you more than 30 minutes on bike. But now if you are going to Iba, from Umuji to Iba, it will take you only 30 seconds. You can ride up to 1 minute.
But he was complaining about electricity as well.
I'm coming. You see, yesterday, they brought posts, they completed everything about posts at Iba, and they have started putting crossbar and insulators. So the light of Iba is the thing of the past. I don't know where that person got that information.
But do they have lights now?
But they are working on it. They are working on it now.
I remember he also said the poles have been installed and the rest of it, but they want to see lights. He made mention of that.
Yeah.
Which is not one day job now. Let them praise the government. Let them praise the chairman of Emuka local government for the work he's doing. But when you say the shortest way to ask someone is to say thank you. Thank the person that is doing this thing so that they will do more. You see, let people travel home and see what is happening. Iba is no more the Iba of before. Iba now is a very peaceful community. That is my second home. So I will not be happy when somebody will discredit Iba or the market Iba. I will not be happy about it.
Okay.
But they don't truly have lights, do they?
No, but they're working on it, like he said already. He said everything is being put in place. Like he said, it's one step at a time. So I gave you a report of the Delta State Polytechnic, or Zoro. They are the ones that banned the use of face cap by students on campus. The rector of the Polytechnic, Professor Job Akbodiete, gave this order at the weekend shortly after the burning of more than 5,000 face caps seized from students. He represented the Dean of Student Affairs, which is No, Mr. Thomas actually represented Akbodiete, and he said that the move was to check the incidents of indecent dressing among students on campuses. In his words, I quote now, the management of the Polytechnic came up with an advice to students to dress in a manner that is acceptable in the institution and the public. So, go to the directive by the school management, the use of all manner of caps by students on campuses has been prescribed, he said. The rector said that the Polytechnic Security Unit had been authorized as a matter of importance to destroy these caps henceforth. The Polytechnic, he said, had over the years witnessed relative peace and cult-free academy environment. Akbodiete described the feat as a product of consensuous and proactive measure put in place by the management of the institution, he said. But like I said earlier, I think I already explained why this should be put in place. But then that reminds me, when you see group of students wearing a particular color of cap, what does it tell you?
Cultism.
What is it? Good evening. Who are Brahma? Welcome.
You're welcome.
Very well, thank you.
Hi, who are Brahma? Good evening.
Talking about my road.
So me, I no follow.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, my brother. Don't mind me.
I really forget.
Go ahead, please.
What are you doing?
I greet you specially. Go ahead.
I said, so, I don't know. I don't take all our time, When I get this station on this hour. Can we get this station for now?
Yeah, I know.
When I don't talk. What's that?
Okay.
Then I let it talk to my people, they call.
Ewa Brahma, your time is going already.
That is why. That is my problem. When I leave on, no will talk with our time.
Okay.
So I am talking about my community code. I'm still begging government because now we are start striking. If I see if they would understand my community, make sure that the road goes straight. I am begging them about our road. And especially the local government. I don't know the man. The education sector in that community, government, who tried and very nice thing for my community. Because as I am telling you, the teacher who I live in my community, I never seen it other places. The mom just help the community to make sure that the teachers go there. I am telling you because I think almost more than 10 teachers in that community who is teaching the children. So I am thanking them. And let them try. Let them pick up the community and see where the children is learning. Whether it is a good place to learn. Let them come. I am still begging them. But that's to bother me a lot. But I thank them for doing what they do. Because what they do, I will thank them. When they know answer on I'm on the top. So they do a good thing for us to post the teacher for us. But I am still begging them to come and see where the student is learning. So that they will know what to do. So that they will know what to tell government about that community who want to go. So, I am telling you, like the that like where we are fight, where we fight before. Like that every day with the play with the light.
That's good.
Like, I tell you.
I can see you smiling.
As I am talking now, I am with the light. So, very nice. So, make government try so that the whole community will get. So, they will not get like the room. If them nowhere, no light, but the room will have light. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for sharing this one with us. He made mention of Iba, but well, we know currently there's no light at Iba, but we also know that they are working on restoring power to that community. But let's see how soon power is being restored. Speaking on the issue of electricity, some parts, I think they've really improved around this area. Of recent, it seems like there's always lights. When it goes, it's not like there's always light per se, but it's better than what it
before.
used to be like before. Like you can stay for a whole month without seeing anything.
Which area exactly?
This is Alakaya side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember one time around here, you stay like a whole month and there will be no
Nothing.
light, nothing. But recently, you know that, at least today, you would see lights like 3-4 times, maybe an hour, 5 or 4 hours at a stretch. But we hope it gets better though. 95.1 FM, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm calling from Obele.
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm Chidi.
You said you're calling from where?
Obele.
Obele. Okay. Go ahead,
You're
please.
welcome,
Yes,
Chidi.
Obele Iba.
Go ahead, please.
So people are talking about Iba Road. They are constructing Iba Road, really. But I'm telling you that Iba Road that they are constructing will not last even 1 year.
Why?
People should go and, yes, people should go and inspect it. The road will not last even 1 year.
Okay. Are you talking in terms of the quality of work being done?
The quality of what they are constructing. So even as they are tying the road, this thing after is killing, and they are catching it at the same time. So it's something that somebody is supposed not to even look at. Then talking of life, there is nothing like life at Iba that by grace somebody volunteered to give us.
Are you at Iba
life.
currently?
Are
you at Iba right now?
I'm at Iba now.
So,
not even Iba.
Okay.
Because the person, promised that he will even help Obelaliba, single person, not even local government.
Oh, so it's an individual doing this work?
Yes.
How did you know that?
Yes, it's an individual.
How did you know it's an individual? Did he come to the community?
I said I am at Obele.
Yeah, because we just heard someone talk about the local government, and now you're talking about an individual.
Local government, I'm not the local government here. It's an Iba, and it is the youth that cut the whole trees and the palm trees, plantain, to make sure they get life to the person that is helping.
Okay.
So the road, I'm talking about the road, there is nothing they are doing there. So we are going to cry next 1 year.
All right.
All right. Good evening.
Hey, Buchi.
It's Buchi.
Evening.
Good evening.
I'm CDC Chairman Abandele.
It's good to hear from you today.
Yes, so last time I tried, I called you more than 20-something times.
Jesus, 20-something.
So I was annoyed. I didn't continue.
Oh, apologies. So sorry about that. Go ahead.
My area talk today is on our schools in my community.
Okay.
The teachers they post there, both primary and secondary school. How can you imagine in primary school only headmaster and 2 other teachers? But here in Port Harcourt, every day, supervisors are going to school to supervise school. Are they not qualified to go to rural area schools? In secondary school, 4 teachers for the whole secondary school. But the teachers' government post there is more than 13 to 14. They doesn't go to work. Every month they will get their salary. Supervisors are not going there. I don't know. But in Township school here, at Rumekine here, I stay here. Every week supervisors will come to Rumekine school. Every week they will come to Rumekine school. Can they go to the school in the rural area? So the school in my community abandoned it. The secondary school, 4 teachers. The primary school, 3 teachers. How can children do well in education and pass the exam? So that is my area talk today. We have been a very big concern to me as deputy chairman and the community chiefs. We are trying our best So let government help us. Those teachers they send to those.
Have you gone to the board to complain?
The teachers wrote, the principal wrote to the board, but like I'm saying it now, the community want to carry the complaint to the board.
Okay. I think that should be that's actually a very good one. They should take it to the board so they can deploy more teachers to that school.
And they should monitor them well.
So the next area talk, the community now really in general is as fit as any other thing. We can sleep with our 2 eyes closed. You can open your door till the morning, nobody's worrying you. So we have achieved the one thing. Now the local government have come to assist us. He's a very good man and he's doing well.
That's good to know.
Yeah, he's doing well.
All right.
So that's my area talk for today.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing with us, CDC chairman. Well,
I like the sound of that one. I always like hearing when people say, "Oh, my area is peaceful, security wise." Yeah, like you can sleep with your both eyes closed and your
could
doors
even leave your door
yeah.
open.
I
we used to
like
tell
the
them
sound
that
of
is what area talk is about. It is not about just the sad ones. The good news too, they matter a lot. They make us happy. No.
All right. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Okay, I'm calling from Alu, River State.
And your name is?
My name is Daniel.
Daniel, welcome. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm calling on behalf of the Omoko, Omokri and Omichi Link Road. This road, they are working this road for it's getting to 2 years now, and the contractors they have been delaying in the job. I don't know if they want to eat the money. They'll go for a break for 2 weeks, come back, go another break for 1 month. The road has just been delaying, and we are very worried.
Okay.
So I want the government to talk to those contractors. Let them be very serious. The FFEE contractors, let them be very serious and finish it. The road is not a long road. It's just a small road. It's an intercommunity road that they can do within 1 month. They are just delaying, and it's giving the people around stress. Transportation is becoming very, very hectic.
Okay.
So that's what I want to say.
All right.
Thank you. Good evening.
Yeah, hello, good evening. Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
My area talk is
your name.
From my name is Elechi Samuel Ibuchi.
Okay.
And I'm calling from Apani in Ikuri local government.
Oh, you're welcome. Go ahead.
What I want to tell you is that the Ox Park at Apani currently now, they are working what is not their work. They are catching innocent people, beat them mercilessly, and force them to attend that they are in court. Then they will not pay their themselves with some ransom.
Wow. How do you know they are innocent people?
Because right now, they caught my younger brother today. They caught my younger brother that just came back from Port Harcourt yesterday to register for Senior WAEC. He came back to register for Senior WAEC, the SS3 WAEC. So they caught him this morning. They came to our house this morning, arrested the young man and took him and flogged him mercilessly. And this boy is just 17 years old. And they told him to accept that he's a custody. And the boy has accepted. And they told my mother to go and bring the sum of 13,000 naira. My mother said they told her 20,000 and she was pleading. And the thing ended in 13,000. They said she should bring 13,000. Please, we want the government to go and caution them. Better they remove the hotspot from there and bring us anti-citizen or staff people or army people so that we know that this is.
What's the name of your community again?
Apani, at Ikwere local government. Apani.
So, is this the first time you're experiencing something like this, or you've gotten a story like this before?
There have been series of reports. There have been series of reports by the villagers that this is what the Osmark are doing, and those boys they are looking for are no longer in the community. They have run out of the community, and most of them they have killed most of them. So now there's nobody to kill again. There's nobody to arrest again. They are getting with the innocent ones in the village there. Young boys, primary, secondary school boys. To arrest them and beating them up that they should
okay. As much as if we don't know if this is true or not.
What I'm telling you is true.
But how are you sure that your brother in question now is not a cultist? Because, like you said, he just came back to the village to register. He's been in where?
He's staying at Iwofe with my aunt.
Okay, he's been at
Iwofe.
Iwofe. So how sure are you that he didn't join the cult group while he at
I
Iwofe?
know my.
You can
younger
vouch
brother.
for him.
I can vouch for him. He does not go out from the house. My auntie does not allow him to step out from the gate, so he cannot go and join us.
Did you report to the police?
How will you report to the police when?
Why wouldn't you report to the police?
The husband is holding him. So the best thing is to call the radio station and tell the people the map. The map is no.
Okay,
that is what is going on there.
Yeah, we actually appreciate that you're calling and sharing with us because I haven't heard of this before. But I think you should also reach out to the police because they are supposed to be working hand in hand with security agency. And I don't.
Police,
yeah.
The police should be listening. The police should be listening now, and they will hear it now.
Go and file a report.
Me, I'm not in the village right now. I'm in Port Harcourt right now.
Okay, then tell your mother to go file a report.
Okay, I'll look for you to reach out and tell her to go and file a report in the police station.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, this is actually the very first negative reports I'm getting with regards to horseback.
Yeah,
because the narrative has always been that of these guys are
doing real good and they're like our saving grace and the rest of it. And some persons would also say that would rather horseback stays and all these security agencies should go.
Exactly.
But this is like the first, and away from it being the first complaint, I think long before now, when OSPAC themselves were like all over the place before the governor said no, they should go back to their base and every other person should form their local vigilante. There are some complaints of some persons that they are over exercising. They are exercising beyond their limits, beyond their powers, and we don't know if this particular report is true or not. We cannot say, well, it's alleged. We'll just place it that it's alleged. But if this is actually what is happening, then what becomes of our community?
You know, there are always these issues when it has to do with security, and then there's a new security strategy, there's a new security outfit. At the beginning, I'm talking out of experience now. At the beginning, there's always, these guys are good, these guys are really helping out and all of that. But when it gets to that point where the insecurity, the crime rate has actually reduced, just like we have today on our reports,
yes.
You can actually tell that crime rate has reduced in Port Harcourt. And then these guys are thirsty. They came out like guns blazing, very ready to, confront all the elements of criminality.
And now they're done confronting everything. What else is left for them to do?
Exactly. What next?
So how do we manage situations like this? Was there anything being put in place that, okay, well, maybe when it gets to this point in time, when we start getting complaints like what we're getting now, what do we do to curtail their powers?
What's the retreat mechanism? Because these guys, they can't be left out there. It's something they're used to.
Okay. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Hello, Buchi.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello, good evening.
And Coco.
Yes. My name is Reginald. I'm calling from Teboche.
Reginald, welcome. How is Choco Show today?
Teboche is fine. Teboche.
All right.
I just want to use this opportunity to remind the road maintenance agency, this agency, they should try and reach the rural areas. Why are they centering their work within the Port Harcourt and Dojapo area? This place now, the Chogocho, from Chogocho Bridge to the rest of the K road, that's okay. The road is not motorable. The point that we are witnessing a little dry weather now does not look like
okay.
The road is not so. Something has to be done.
All right.
So I still want to use this opportunity to my brothers and my friend Wabroma and Kima.
Rumodogo.
I know that they have cried a lot over the of I want to appeal to your radio station. Can you people make it part of this news? Can you people use
We've actually done that and we've done beyond that.
And okay, let me say call on them, Tim and Wawa Brahma. If they can gather some business or market, let them stage a demonstration. Because I'm feeling for them so much because they have cried a lot over that rumor.
Okay. All right. Okay, you weren't saying anything, so I imagine probably you're done with your report. We have any message?
Yeah, this one says Bucci, no PHCN light for over 6 months now in Obneta on Ne. And it's coming from Elvis.
The way you pronounce the Obneta, I'm wondering where that place is at on there. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome.
I don't want to call my name. Actually, I just heard you talking about Ospark. I've been waiting to hear from people from Mugeli, but if they can tell you what Ospark has been doing there, but they are not telling you actually what they are doing there.
People from where? From where? Delhi.
Delhi, yes. Jungle justice is happening there. They've killed up to 80 boys in Delhi.
80.
I'm telling you, if only your callers from Mundele, please, I am even afraid to even call you now. If only your callers from Mundele will tell you the truth. For the past 3-4 months, they killed up to 80 boys. Jungle justice is happening there. So they say now, what they are doing now, when you wear short things, they will like take you on the road after they finish killing the boys now. They are now chasing after the girls. Whenever they see you wear short things, they will like tear it and naked. Nobody talks. But why I refuse to say is that they said the community that sent them. So even my person is addicted. Even when they killed my person, one of my relatives, when I think that one was not okay, they came to our house and they said they want to burn the house. Understand? So me, I don't really know what is happening. They burn after killing the person. They will go and burn the house. They have burn many houses. So that is what is happening. I've been just listening all this while.
Are you for real?
I'll be listening if your people or your callers, if they will tell you what, they will just say that Oscar is working. The work is jungle justice. That is what is happening. If only they will tell you this. As I'm even talking, I'm even afraid. But if they get to know that I'm the person, I'm finished. That is what is happening now. Now, as they said that everywhere I stand now, because they finished killing all the boys. They kill more than 80. When they kill, police will come and say they are the one that killed.
80, and those people were guilty.
They said that they are.
Well, nobody can say who is guilty or not as long as the court hasn't ruled that person is guilty.
What has been the role of the police in all of this? Has the police been involved?
Yes, they said that they are called boys. To just send the last one they use knife. You need to see how they are butchering human being and say the person is a goat with on the neck. There is one that they burn fire alive. Some they will put knife on the person's neck and cut and see if they are killing goats. I'm even scared because it's something that community said that they need to have this, and the only way they will have this is to kill all these goats. So that is what is happening now. I know your callers, they know the truth, but they will not tell you.
Okay, and all of this is being done in the presence of the police.
Sometimes they will carry the activity, but anyone that maybe they see that people will know it, they will come, they will use the name of the police. But these ones, when they just started it, they will just gather these boys and take them to Igbo forest. They kill them and bury some. They bury their alive. Now my own relative, I heard that they buried him alive. They gave him something to.
That your relative, was he a cultist? Did you ever know him as a cultist, or he moves with cultists?
That is what they said. My cousin. That is what they said. They killed many, more than 80.
So now, away from the issue of killing these persons, well, first of all, I don't think they have the permission to do that. They are to work with security operatives and hand over these boys when they apprehend them to the police or any security agency. But away from that, you talked about them harassing ladies in your community.
Now they finished because they said that it was the header of the community that sent them to kill. So they are through with that one now. Now they are harassing the ladies.
Are you now saying that the elders of your community gave them the go ahead to kill?
That's what they said. They trained them. They gave them their arms. They trained them that they want peace. The only way they can get this is to kill these boys. And they have killed more than 80. If only they will make it.
At this point, I really do wish we had access. We had access to maybe the phone numbers of any of the elders in. She said Delhi. Did she say Delhi? That's at Emoha, right?
All right, that we can work out.
Okay.
But we have less than 2 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's take that message.
This person said, "Good evening, Buchi. Buchi, what have the people of Odoha Emoa done to Rivers State government and Emoa local government chairman to deserve all this punishment and unfair treatment? Other communities in Emoa has light, good road, good school. Please, we are begging the government to come to our aid." Chibuke Gospel from Odoha Emoa, and he has pictures of the dilapidated school.
All right, 95.1 FM, good evening.
Good evening, Puchi.
Yeah.
I just want to call. I've called him before. This is my second time of calling.
Quickly.
Sorry, please. These unpack people, can they stop killing the people they catch? Or the people
Well,
they
actually, they are not supposed to. These people are supposed to be handed over to security agencies.
To the police.
Yeah.
Over to the police. Hand them over to the police. Don't kill them.
All right, thank you very much. You see, in the midst of this, what this person just said now we're getting complaints that they don't jungle justice and the rest of it. Do you know that to some persons this is not surprising? And they are excited that, yes, let jungle justice be given to these people, because if you hand them over, they feel like if you hand them over, if you hand them over to security agencies, they just might release them, somebody will go and pay for their bill, and then they'll be out in no time. Some persons make allegations like that. But now, like I said, they are just allegations. They are alleging all these stories now because none of it has been confirmed. But what if it's actually true and people are actually going through this? Innocent people are dying in the process. And these local vigilantes are now going out of hand because maybe they've finally succeeded in curbing insecurity. And now
they're idle.
Exactly. Like nothing to do. Who are we going to hold? This and that. What if these allegations turn out to be true and it's actually reality? Maybe we might get some sort of official reports that no, it's not happening and the rest of it. But then trust me, there are some things you get to hear, like this guy that lost his life. We got a different official report and eyewitness there were saying something else. But what if it's actually true that people are going through this? What happens then?
Well,
okay, I think we have to go now.
That's a very big question, and I think it's a topic for another day.
Yeah, sure. Boluwatife.
All I have to say is that these people, they should know what they are doing. If you're not sent to do beyond something, don't do beyond it. Let us save our country.
All right.
You know.
All right, Greg.
Final words. Let's just stay positive.
All right, stay positive is Greg's final word. Stay tuned. The news updates rather is up next. I am Boluwati. I am Buchirafu, and I did the program with Boluwatife, Coco, Greg, and your humble self. Thank you so much for doing the area talk with us. Do stay tuned.
Whether it's happening in Port Harcourt, South South, Nigeria, or around the world, we've got you covered on air, online, delivering balanced news and unbiased analysis. Today, 95.1 FM.
Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News update.
very good evening to you. Here is the news update on Today 95.1 FM. I am Kuku Greg. The Rivers State House of Assembly Committee on Education has been directed to look into the non-implementation of the Rivers State Education Teaching of Indigenous Languages in Schools Law Number 4 of 2003. The House reached the resolution following the presentation of the motion questioning why the law is yet to be implemented. Speaker of the House, Ikunyi Owaji Igbani, in his resolution asked the Committee on Education to invite the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education to explain why the law has not been implemented since its passage over 10 years ago.
My knowledge of anthropology also reveals that there is that department of anthropology called linguistic anthropology, which studies how language actually influences social life of a given people and society, meaning language is very important. And for the River State House of Assembly to pass a law in 2003, it means the values or the advantages attached to such laws well known to members of the River State House of Assembly as of 2003. So I believe that the Minister of Education should be able to look at the issue.
Sponsor of the motion, Anselm Ogugwo, representing Ikure constituency, told the Assembly Press Corps that local rivers languages should be introduced to the academic curriculum of the state.
This law has been in existence since the 30th day of July 2005, but has not been implemented by the various agencies. They will not feel that it is necessary for us as lawmakers to see how they can revisit or implement that aspect of law. But this law has been in existence in some other states. Like as we know, if you go to North, they speak their northern language. If you go to the western part of the country, they speak their language. If you go to the eastern part of the country, they speak their language. But here we have this law. But the failure for the implementation, that is why we have to see today, that's why we have to sponsor a motion asking the UBE board or every agency that is necessary that has a role to play for this law to be in practice in Rivers State. Because
the chairman of the Rivers State Council of Traditional Rulers, His Royal Highness Dandison Jaja, says the Operation Sting initiated by the Rivers State government has reduced crime rates in the state to a manageable level. King Jaja made the observation at the South-South Security Summit held in Asaba, Delta State. He told the gathering that the Rivers State government was working hard to ensure that the state is secured. He also advocated for community policing, where traditional rulers will be carried along in the process.
Governments are doing the best. For instance, in Rivers State, our governor, the administration has come up with what we call Operation Sting. And Operation Sting, I'm sure the IG knows how well funded with equipment and all that had been done in Rivers State. And that had brought criminality down to a very manageable position. Is it necessary that traditional rulers are given a primary place in the community policing because they are the leaders, the custodians of culture and tradition of their people? They understand the sensibilities of their people.
A university don, Austin Sado, has said the decision by Senator Sabi Abdullahi to amend the said controversial hate speech bill is meaningless. Sado, who is also a senior lecturer in the Department of Linguistics and Communication Studies at the University of Port Harcourt, said the bill should be dropped. Speaking with our correspondent Ifunanya Obemendukwe, the Uniport lecturer said the Nigerian law has already made enough provision to control offenders that infringe on the rights of people, making references to defamation and damages. He said the proposed law is totalitarian in nature.
Amending the punishment from death penalty to imprisonment has no meaning. In the first place, there is no need for that law. We have in our laws enough control against any form of infringement on the right of other persons through what we say. What remedy is better than defamation and damages? It simply means that people will be gagged, people will be stopped from expressing themselves, and the only intention for doing that will be to have a totalitarian regime. In Nigeria, we are making law to stop people from expressing themselves. It will only take us back to the dark ages. So we hope that Nigerians during the public hearing of this will completely throw this bill away. Because if you look at our laws, those who steal from us, how much are they punished? Any which way you look at it, it is wrong. It is abuse of power.
Anti-Graft Agency Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has arrested the controller of Kirikiri Maximum Prison, Lagos, Emmanuel Oluwaniyi, for his role in allowing Hope Aroke, a convicted internet fraudster, to receive treatment outside the prison where he is serving a 24-year jail term. The EFCC said Aroke, also known as H Money, had masterminded a mega scam to the tune of over $1 million from prison using a network of accomplices. Also arrested was Hemerson Edwin, head of the medical center at Kirikiri Prison, who allegedly gave exaggerated medical reports that warranted a referral for Aroke to be treated outside the facility. EFCC spokesman Wilson Uwajuren, in a statement, said the two prison officials have given useful information to the commission about their alleged involvement in the crime. The Federal University of Technology, Akure, has expelled 6 students over the bullying of a fellow student. The Deputy Director of Corporate Communications of the institution, Adegbenro Adebanjo, said the expulsion followed the recommendation of an investigative panel which probed the incident that took place in an off-campus hostel on Saturday, November 16, 2019. He said the expulsion is in line with the position of page 48 of the 2019-2020 Students' Handbook, which prescribes expulsion from the university for students who engage in physical assault or battery on another student outside the university premises. Adebanjo added that the punishment meted out to the affected students is not the pander to the justifiable public outcry that greeted their action, but in tandem with the rules and regulations as contained in the Students' Code of Conduct. On the foreign scene, Chinese state media outlets have attempted to downplay the results of Hong Kong's district elections, which saw the pro-democracy camp score a landslide victory. The government had been hoping the elections would bring a show of support from the so-called silent majority opposed to the protest. Instead, it saw some significant pro-Beijing candidates lose council seats. Chief Executive Carrie Lam has acknowledged public unhappiness. In her first public appearance since the results, she says she recognized that people were concerned over deficiencies in governance, including unhappiness with the time taken to deal with the unstable environment. However, she offered no new concessions. And that's all we have for you on the news updates this evening. I am Kuku Greg. Up next is World News.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
This is Today 95.1 FM. To copy this tune, press 9.
This is Today 95.1 FM.
For current news and information, press 5.
They are politicians, all of them. They know what they do.
So they know how they attack each other.
To stay connected all day, press 1.
The person who raised the name is the one who made the public know about
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the World News on your premium talk radio station.
We are your premium talk radio station. Today 95.1 FM, the station with a unique dial.
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
This is Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt, voice of the people, and it is time again for a rundown of the foreign news stories that made the headlines on the world today. In our package tonight, At least one dead as rebel killings sparked deadly violence against UN facilities.
And 13 French soldiers killed in a mid-air helicopter collision in Mali.
United Nations hails Cyprus talks, vows to seek peace effort.
And Pakistan's top court temporarily suspends the army chief's extension.
And over a dozen dead as strongest tremor in decades rocks Albania.
Yemen faces new outbreak of dengue fever. I am Buchi Rafwa.
And I am Coco Greg. Now the news in details. Protesters have targeted UN facilities again in eastern DR Congo, with at least one shot dead by security forces as anger rises over the failure to stop deadly attacks on civilians by rebels. The World Health Organization (WHO) moved dozens of staff from the Ebola-hit Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo (DRC) because of mounting insecurity after angry residents accused authorities, including a major UN peacekeeping force, of failing to protect them.
And Christian Lindmer, a spokesman for the United Nations Health Agency, told newsmen in the Swiss city of Geneva that 49 non-essential WHO employees were being relocated from the town of Beni in North Kivu province. He added that 4 people were killed in clashes with police on Monday when demonstrators, angered by a new round of deadly rebel violence in the region, touched the mayor's office and attacked several UN buildings in Beni.
While 49 were relocated, 71 remain on the spot at this point to ensure as good as possible, or at least the minimum support to Ebola response, adding that they need law and order restored in order to carry out the vital operations.
And in Mali, 13 French soldiers have been killed in a collision between 2 helicopters in Mali in what is believed to be the singlest biggest loss of the European country's troops there since its intervention in 2013. The accident, which occurred on Monday, has gotten reaction from French President Emmanuel Macron, as he said soldiers were engaging fighters who have staged a series of deadly attacks in northern Mali in recent weeks.
The president, however, in a statement expressed sadness over the attack as he announces the death of 13 French troops in Mali in an accident between their 2 helicopters during a combat mission against jihadists. Meanwhile, a statement from Florence Parly said an inquiry has been opened into the cause of the mid-air collision, arguing that a Tiger attack helicopter collided with a larger Koga military transport helicopter.
And the statement further revealed that 6 officers and a master corporal were amongst the victims, adding that the accident brings to 38 the number of French soldiers killed in Mali since France's intervention 6 years ago to help drive back armed groups threatening to overrun the country. Reports here also has it that it has since kept about 4,500 troops in the region as part of the Barkhane operation, which is primarily attacks with building up the training local security forces, but also participates in operations against the armed groups.
And now to Libya, where U.S. military said it has lost the unmanned aerial vehicle while it was assessing security over Libyan capital Tripoli. In reaction to this, a senior official in the Libyan National Army of Eastern-based military commander Khalifa Haftar told the Associated Press the drone was mistaken for a Turkish UAV deployed by the UN-recognized Government of National Accord (GNA). The official, who spoke in condition of anonymity, said the LNA apologized for shooting down the American drone and agreed with the Americans to coordinate their operations over Tripoli and its surrounding areas to avoid similar incidents in the future.
It may interest you to know that the Tripoli-based GNA acquired a number of Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2 drones, while the UAE, which supports Haftar alongside Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and France, has supplied the military commander with Chinese wing-longs. Haftar has since April 4 waged a month-long offensive against the GNA, which he accuses of harboring terrorist elements.
Away from Africa to the rest of the world, a United Nations report released today has warned world countries to cut their greenhouse gas emissions well beyond current pledges to make up for the lost time or face catastrophic climate changes. The annual emissions gap report, which paints a grim picture of the rise in global warming, points the finger at G20 countries, especially China and the United States, the 2 top greenhouse gas emitters, along with Russia and the European Union, which are doing too little to tackle the climate crisis.
The report further says the emissions need to go down by 55% by 2030, adding that the G20 countries are collectively responsible for 78% of all emissions, but argue that they are not doing enough to contain global warming within the 1.50 degrees Celsius temperature goals established by the Paris Agreement in 2016. And Tuesday's report, compiled by some of the world's leading scientists, says that even if all commitments made in Paris were to be complemented, temperatures would likely rise because of previous inaction between 3.4 to 3.9 Celsius this century, bringing destructive climate change.
This means countries are now obliged to increase their joint commitments by more than fivefold, or the 1.5 Celsius goal will be out of reach before 2030. However, the UN Environment Programme's Executive Director, Inga Anderson, also said failure to act early and hard on climate change in the past now means everyone must deliver deep cuts to emissions, over 7% each year, adding that they need to quickly reduce emissions as much as possible in 2020.
And still from United Nations, UN chief says future talks to resolve decades-old issue must be different than previous failed rounds of negotiations. The head of the United Nations has described his informal talks with the leaders of Cyprus' divided communities as focused and frank, as he promised to continue efforts to finalize terms for the resumption of proper negotiations to resolve one of the world's most enduring conflicts.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, after a meeting in Germany capital, said he is looking to bring together the Greek Cypriot and Turkish Cypriot leaders, as well as officials from the ethnically split Mediterranean islands, three guarantors, Greece, Turkey and the United Kingdom, for an informal meeting to reach consensus on those terms. Guterres further revealed that he had met the Republic of Cyprus President Nikos Anastasiades and Turkish Cypriot leader Mustafa Akinci in Berlin on Monday for informal trilateral talks that raised some hopes for a new impetus to revive peace negotiations, adding that both leaders welcomed his engagement and reaffirmed to him their commitment and determination to achieve a settlement based on a bizonal, bi-communal federation with political equality as set out in the relevant Security Council resolutions.
It may interest you to know that numerous UN-sponsored efforts to resolve the long-lasting issue have ended in failure, including the latest in 2017, when negotiations at Crans Montana in Switzerland involving top diplomats from the three guarantor countries collapsed.
And now to Pakistan, where Pakistan's Supreme Court has temporarily suspended an extension of the term of office for the country's army chief, putting it on a possible collision course with the powerful military. This ruling comes months after Prime Minister Imran Khan had said that he needed General Qamar Javed to stay on, citing continuing tension with neighboring India over the disputed territory of Kashmir.
The hearing to validate Bajwa's extension on Tuesday, Pakistan Chief Justice Asif Khosa said the court was suspending the decision until the army produced detailed arguments on its reasoning, adding that if the situation is so, then the army as a whole body can deal with the situation, not the individual. And now clashes have erupted between protesters calling for an overhaul of the political system and supporters of the main Shia groups Hezbollah and Amal amidst reports of gunfire in some parts of Lebanon. According to local media, for the second consecutive day, security forces intervened in a bid to break up confrontations late on Monday between the group's supporters and demonstrators protesting against Lebanon's political elites.
A video posted by Lebanese broadcaster LBCI showed heavy gunfire around Kola Bridge in the capital, Beirut. The source of the gunfire was not immediately clear. No injuries were reported. And separately in Beirut, two protesters were reportedly wounded after Hezbollah and Amal supporters attacked demonstrators there.
In the southern town of Tyre, supporters of Hezbollah and Amal tore up protest tents and set them on fire, prompting security forces to intervene and fire into the air, according to Lebanese media.
And now to Albania. At least 13 people have died after the most powerful earthquake to hit Albania in Tirana and its heavily populated surrounding region, causing several buildings to collapse and burying residents in the rubble.